You know, it's funny. Some of the best new ideas aren't really new at all. They're just hiding in plain sight. They usually come from those little everyday frustrations. You know, those moments where you're stuck choosing between two options, and honestly, neither one is all that great. Today, we're going to break down a strategy that takes that exact frustration and turns it into a powerful engine for innovation.
And this whole idea is captured perfectly in this quote from entrepreneur Affion Williams, the CEO of RealFruits. She basically says, look, instead of trying to invent something from scratch, the real goldmine is in rethinking the choices that customers already have. You take the best parts of both and you blend them into something totally new.
And for her, this whole insight came from a really relatable problem, what I like to call the sweet tooth dilemma. So picture this, right? On one hand, you've got candy. It's super easy to eat, zero effort, but yeah, it's not exactly good for you. Then on the other hand, you've got fresh fruit. It's incredibly healthy, but let's be honest, it can be a real pain. You gotta wash it, peel it, chop it. It takes work. And Affion found herself stuck right there in the middle, just wanting something that was both easy and healthy.
And that's exactly where she found the solution: RealFruits. Now look, it's not as perfectly healthy as a fresh-picked apple, but it is way better than a candy bar. And yeah, it's not quite as effortless as unwrapping a piece of candy, but it is so much more convenient than slicing up a whole pineapple. It created a brand new category just by solving that trade-off.
So, what Affion did, that wasn't just a clever trick for the snack aisle. It's a repeatable framework, a real strategy for innovation. And we're going to call it the hybrid product strategy, or, the best of both strategy.
So what is the hybrid product strategy really? Well, it's all about finding two existing options in a market that are, well, flawed. They're imperfect. You then take the best things about each one, like, say, the convenience from one and the high quality from the other, and you merge them. You create a new product that gets rid of the biggest headaches of both of the old options.
Okay, so why is this so powerful? Why does this approach work so consistently? What's really going on under the hood that makes it tick?
Well, it all boils down to this brilliant concept from the late, great Clayton Christensen called jobs to be done. And the idea is actually pretty simple. We don't just buy products, we hire them to do a specific job for us. So in that sweet tooth dilemma, the job was, give me a quick, healthy-ish sweet snack. Candy did the quick part well. Fruit did the healthy part well. A hybrid product like RealFruits gets hired because it does the entire job way better than either of the old choices.
But, and this is a really big but, this strategy is not a silver bullet. It's an incredibly powerful tool for sure, but like any tool, you gotta know how to use it right, and there are some really common ways this can all go wrong. For starters, you might completely misunderstand what job the customer actually wants done, or your cost structure could be so high that the product ends up being way too expensive. Maybe there's a cultural mismatch if you're going into a new market. A huge pitfall, though, is creating what's called a false middle. A product that's just kind of mediocre at everything instead of great at the important things. And of course, you can always run into some unexpected regulatory or shipping nightmares. Success is really about dodging these traps.
Okay, so once you have this pattern in your head, I promise, you are going to start seeing it absolutely everywhere. This isn't just about snacks, this is a fundamental driver of innovation in so many industries.
I mean, just think about Netflix. What's the job there? Entertain me at home with a ton of choices. The old options were going to the cinema, amazing selection, but a huge effort, or watching regular TV, super convenient, but you're stuck with whatever's on. Netflix just combined that massive movie catalog with on-demand convenience, and, well, we all know how that story ended.
We see the exact same pattern with Dollar Shave Club. The alternatives? You could buy expensive, high-quality razors that meant an annoying trip to the store, or you could get cheap, low-quality disposable ones. They just combined that premium quality with the dead simple convenience of a subscription. They won the job of give me a good, affordable shave without all the hassle. And we're seeing it in healthcare too. A clinic visit gives you that expert diagnostic value, but it takes forever and it's super inconvenient. A simple phone call is convenient, but it doesn't have much diagnostic power. So what did telehealth services do? They blend the two, offering you expert medical advice right from your own home. Okay, so this isn't just some big picture theory for giant corporations. It's a practical playbook that you can actually use. So here's a real, tangible 90-day plan to find and launch your own hybrid product.
First things first, before you build a single thing, you have to know if the math is even going to work. This is your unit economics. You take your retail price, that's R, and you subtract all your costs for each unit. Things like fees, F, logistics, L, and the cost of the goods themselves, C. What's left over is your gross contribution. If that number isn't positive and healthy, the whole idea is dead in the water.
All right, once the math looks like it could work, the execution has to be a sprint. The first 2 weeks, define that core job and just sketch out a few different concepts. Then, you gotta move fast. Make some real samples and test if people are interested with a simple pre-order page. Weeks 4 to 8 are all about running small tests to see if people will actually pull out their wallets. And by week 12, you're shipping your very first batch. The whole game is about moving from an idea to real-world proof fast.
So, all of this brings us to the last and maybe the most important question. Just look around your own world, your job, your industry, even just your daily routine. Where are you constantly being forced to choose between two options that kind of stink? Because that frustration, that's not just a problem. It might just be your next big idea.